Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. I wanted to make sure we have this conversation, we record this conversation because it is so important and so many people forget that they can't automate their way out of problems. And you see this a lot in your work as well. So I know you can have some really good examples or really good stories on what really happens when somebody tries to slap an automation tool on top of a process that is poorly defined.
Yeah, I think it really comes from a strong temptation. We're all sold the big opportunity of if we could just automate all these things, our problems would go away. I think about it often in terms of when you're buying a new software. People are painting this massive thing of what can be possible for you, but time and time again, if you don't face the facts and solve something that's more of an internal thing, actually know why is this not working? What needs could be improved? What is actually the purpose of this process? Only when you have those things in place can you then automate that. You can't make a automation doesn't make up for something that's ill-defined. It can't fill that gap. And I think so much we're trying to chase something that just can get us out of the hard work, I guess is another way of looking at it.
Yeah, I see this often in companies who are just graduating out of being founder led because so much knowledge and so much grind and so much instinct is in the founder's head. And the assumption is that all is somewhere and everybody absolutely absorbed it through osmosis, I guess. And now let's just get a tool that's going to make all of this go faster and automatically for us. And all of those assumptions are the ones that are going to make the process break. And all those assumptions are going to make the automation come out with some really, really bad results.
Yeah, yeah, and I think where those assumptions fall down is confusing what with why. And so when we
Mm-hmm.
focus on, I think just in general, I don't
Yes.
know if it's education system or what, we always focus on the what. What goes in the box? What are the steps to the process? Whatever it is. But the why is the ultimate judge. The why is what tells us, is this thing actually producing the outcome that we want it to do? And if you only focus on the what, you can you can get a ways down the road where you're building this holistic automation thing and you have all the different ingredients you think are necessary, but then when you actually put it into practice, everything breaks, everything's a mess. And if you had that why, what is this outcome that's going to drive for the customer? What is this process going to be consistent? Is it going to, be save us tons of time? Then you have this judge, and that judge helps you along the way to say, no, 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 we can't have 34 steps, or we can't have a 16 decision tree because that would defeat the whole purpose. The point is to save time, and this thing's going to take us more time, or whatever it is.
Absolutely. So this is a problem that shows up everywhere in the organization. It's not just when we are talking about transitioning between marketing and sales. It's not just when we're talking about transitioning between sales and customer success. It's not just when we're looking at, individual payment processes or operations. This happens everywhere. We try to automate everything. And one of the things that I found is that people have been trying to put automation in place to avoid some of the conflict, some of the conversations about what should be happening and how we should be doing it. Oh, we'll just automate it and then that problem's going to go away. But that friction is absolutely necessary to make sure that the experience that we're delivering to the customer, wherever that might be in the organization, is consistent and the best possible experience because you need that friction to hone and polish it up.
Yeah, and I think that friction, the way to kind of lean into that, whether it be to your point of it's marketing to sales, sales to customer success to product building, whatever, um, is when you approach it in an iterative manner. So first, can we design this manually? That's already going to create a little bit of conflict because we have to agree on, is this the right process? Is there three steps or two? Then can you incorporate automation as you go? Because again, that will help you realize, are we circumventing something just to try to avoid having to require the sales rep to put this information in, or that for marketing to gather this data? And so that to me has been the most effective way to do it. But again, it's going to lead to a little bit more conflict up front. It's going to force you to figure it. But guess what? That is the whole reason we're failing in the first place. And so
Exactly.
if anything, use the automation as an excuse to force the conflict, and then you can
Force
channel
those
that energy
conversations.
towards
Yes.
the thing. You got to channel it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there's something that you said that is very critical. Don't try to automate the entire thing right away. Go one little step at a time. Automate this little part that you know really well that everyone's aligned on. Make sure that that automation works exactly you want it to work. And then you can add on to it one step at a time. Because if you automate the entire thing and it fails, you don't know what to fix and you don't know what the little pieces are. So definitely start small whenever you're implementing any of these tools or automations.
Plus, you've wasted a bunch of time doing the holistic thing. So, as an example, in my world in customer success, you know, there's customer success platforms. One of the big things people have been leaning into for many years is, okay, we're going to set up all these automated notifications of, hey, you need to call this customer and do this thing, and if this doesn't happen, then it's going to be an overdue task or whatever. And what happens is you spend all this time, months putting it together, team waiting for it. It goes live, and then instantly it tells everybody you have 295 overdue tasks. And so everyone's demotivated. It's not actually useful. It's not actually how they really do their work anyway. And so to me, that's just always the perfect representation of you try to go for this holistic thing instead of how about we just automate the scheduling of the EBRs in a manner that actually just keeps them consistent with our customers. Then we'll focus on these other 10 tasks that are useful.
Very, very similar story. Client that brought me in because they tried to implement lead nurture. And when it went live, all of a sudden their salespeople were getting hundreds of actions that they needed to do manually per day. Nobody's going to do this. This is impossible. It's completely overwhelming. So they had to roll it back, and then they need to figure it out from scratch. But if you don't do it one little step at a time, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you don't know what went wrong, and then you have nothing.
Yeah, and to me there's a concept I tell people a lot, which is there's a difference between catch up work and keep up work. And catch
Mm-hmm.
up often means sometimes you have to do some manual work or even have an automation that helps you get into position to then have a process that can actually be consistent and run properly. And so we so often conflate those two things, and that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what produces that outcome. We didn't actually get caught up. And so now when we put this thing
Yes.
live, it just looks like a mess.
It just looked like a mess. Exactly. All right. So the question that I always try to answer that, if I were in these shoes, if I was in an organization that says we absolutely need to automate, we are so behind on AI, let's start implementing AI and automation tools anywhere that we can. And, I'm a leader in that organization. Where do I start? What do I do? What do I poke at first?
Yeah, from my perspective, you look for always for the low-hanging fruit. Why? Because it helps you to be able to get some early wins, and you're going to learn some pretty important things along the way. If you go for the nastiest problem first,
Yeah.
even if you approach it in an iterative manner or in a manual first way, you're just going to lose a lot of momentum. You're going to lose a lot of wasted energy there. So, in the customer success world, that sales to CS handoff is a great example. There's some little things you can do to be able to, call recording and extract information from the sales call so we can autofill things in the CRM. Then we can take that information and create an agent that pulls that and creates a little executive summary. Or then that summary gets used to apply a scorecard to the kickoff call to make sure the CSM leverage that information properly or whatever. So those little kind of wins along the way, you can pick a holistic process, but then break it up into individual segments. That to me is a great way because not only will you get momentum in your ability to tackle these things, but your team is going to experience that momentum in
Mm-hmm.
crescendo rather than an all at once, everything's
And
automating and also crumbling to the ground at the same
and
time.
they're going to have a hand in building it, and then
Yeah.
other people understanding what is happening so that there's not a single source of failure in terms of maintaining it. Absolutely. Really, really good advice. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for the quick chat. I think a lot of people are going to find this useful.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on.
All right.